response to allegations that you accepted campaign funding from a pro-abortion organization?
That's the most outrageous thing yet in this campaign. And let me tell you why. Let me tell you exactly why. There's an ad out there right now that says that I accepted money from Planned Parenthood. I'm pro-life, 100% pro-life voting record, okay? I don't believe in creating embryos to destroy them. I believe in life. I believe that if we have embryos that have been put in vitro fertilization, then we ought to find adopted parents for them. However, I have a fellow that's running against me who has said that I accepted money. You know where that comes from? It's political facts. So I have that paper with me. I don't know if Troy still has it, but you can look it up. Or if you want, we can get you a copy if you haven't seen it on the web. Where they say pants on fire, whatever. You remember that? This pants on fire, this ad's so bad, so wrong. What is it based on? There was a law firm in Washington, D.C. that gave me, when I was running for re-election in Congress, twice in the 1990s, 2 different elections, $1,000 each time. That law firm had lots of clients, and among them during that time was not Planned Parenthood. But in this decade, and I have not been in Congress since 2000, okay? In this decade, one of their clients is Planned Parenthood. Isn't that a stretch? Isn't that a real stretch? This fella is trying really hard to run to my right. He's working every angle he can. And I'm going to count on you, the people, the grassroots, to figure this out and tell other people. I don't have as much money as he's got. I'll never have as much money as he's got. And I know that the sense is, hey, we want to kick them all out. I don't think you want to kick them all out. I think you want to kick out the ones that you don't agree with, the ones that don't believe in the Constitution, the ones that don't believe in appointing judges who interpret the United States Constitution and our state Constitution like they were written instead of like a living document. And I don't have a problem with sending a young person, a rookie, somebody who's inexperienced to Congress or to the legislature or to the city council or the county commission. But I think when you're talking about governor or president of the United States, either one of those, you need experience. Experience that money can't buy. And I believe you'll carry that message out there. I got a record. Nowhere. If anybody takes the time, they can look it up. I've had lots of votes. You know where I am. Next question.
Thank you. This is our last question. Our federal, state, and local governments have essentially descended into criminal organizations through the self-serving motives of career politicians. We have incompetence, scandal, abuse of authority, and a total disregard for the citizens that they were elected to serve. And we are, in fact, on the brink of destruction. Mr. McCollum, sir, you are indeed a career politician. Why should we, the people, trust you to do otherwise?
Well, I partly answered that a minute ago, but I'm going to readdress that because of the words career politician. I think there's a big difference between a politician and a public servant. And I've seen a lot of the politicians. Their people are in this for their ego. They're in this because they're about me. They're in this because they want to be in a position. They like the authority, they like to be a congressman, they like to be whatever they want to be, and they're not in it for the principle. They're not in it for the right reason. They're not in it to serve, and they're not in it because they believe, as you and I do, in good government to follow the constitutional principles of our founding father. And that's why I got involved. I was first in the Navy, JAG Corps, some of you know that, 4 years active duty, and then 19 more in the reserves, and I'm proud of that. That's public service. I enjoyed it. I stayed in the reserves for a reason. Not because, you know, I needed to. I liked it. I thought it was important. I drilled. I wore my uniform. Even when I was elected to Congress, I did that. I wore my uniform. I went to drill when I was up in the Rayburn office building, or I would go to the now defunct Navy base in Orlando, or up to Charleston, or wherever. And I was proud of that. And I had the privilege of serving in Congress for those 20 years, I have to admit. Quite a while. I never intended to serve that long. I'm the guy who proposed the constitutional amendment. The only one in history ever to be voted on the House floor and get a majority vote to limit the terms of Congress. And that happened after the contract with America that I helped write. 4 of those provisions I was intimately involved with, which is probably a pretty good reason. A little hint to you why Dick Armey would be so quick to endorse me and say what he did about me. And one of those was that term limits constitutional amendment. Now, it's the only one that never passed. It didn't pass because it took, a supermajority to get through. But I believe that 12 years, something like that, that's enough. That's where we ought to limit it, when everybody was on that same playing field. But when we got the majority, I stayed for another few years, and I got to be committee chairman, and I got to go through some experiences up there. I was involved, as you know, in the Waco hearings and the impeachment of the president and a whole host of things. And I will tell you, once I left, I ran for the United States Senate. I was not successful in 2000, the year that Bill Nelson defeated me, and the year of the hanging Chad. We had a close race, but not as close as the president. And I've had the privilege now, and I didn't expect to run for Attorney General, but I was in the office in Tallahassee when now Senator Lemieux was the chief of staff in the Attorney General's office in April of 2006. And George said to me, it was April, he said, that's pretty late, that's the election year. He said, you ought to run for Attorney General. And I had no particular interest. I didn't know really fully what the Attorney General of Florida did. And I was practicing law. I'd been out for 6 years. And he said, look, here's what we do, this, 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 and this. There were 3 other fine people running. But I was dissatisfied personally with what I was doing. I didn't mean I didn't like law or representing clients. It's a perfectly honorable profession. But I like service. I like what Leslie Waters likes, or Jim Frisch. I like to give of time. It gives me inner satisfaction, because the reason I told you I'm running for governor, for our children, our grandchildren. I know if I'm in the room, I can make a difference. I know if I'm on the playing field in the arena, I can make a difference. And I know you feel the same way. Why are you out here tonight? Why are you out here tonight? What motivates you? It's the same thing that motivates me. I want to get going. I want to take our state and country back, as you put it. It's the right way to look at it. And you got to be fired up about it. You got to want to do it, and it gives me personal satisfaction. I'm not in it for an ego. It could be anybody else. I just happen to know that I have the experience to do this job. And I have a vision about where I think this state ought to go. I have a vision about where the nation ought to go, but I'm not running for president. I never planned to do that. But I ran for Attorney General, and I'm proud to have served. We've done a lot of good things there. Fighting cyber predators, going after gang members, fighting people in terms of consumer protection. So I'm looking forward to being your next governor. And I believe that with the experience I have, and with the vision that we have, that we share in common, and with the basic beliefs in God and our country and our families and in our Constitution, I will be your next governor. Yes. We will succeed in turning this state and country around. We're going to win. We're going to win for this country and for our kids. Okay? Thank you so much for letting me do this. Let's get the Tea Party movement going.